Now, over to the United States with a guest who's quite a chameleon. Well, almost.
Yeah, Erik Sprague has changed his appearance over the years so much that he's now called the Lizardman.
To find out what it cost and what scales, thank you. He'll go to speak to him now. Erik!
Oh, my goodness, Erik, how are you? Good morning.
How's it going, Erik?
I'm good. Good morning to you, too.
Oh, my God. I'll be honest with you, it has actually taken my breath away just even looking at you, babes. You look incredible. So how long has this...
I love stunned silence. I love stunned silence.
It literally is. Do you get that a lot everywhere you go, then?
I do get it quite a bit. I very often cause people to pause, do double takes. You know, I'm not proud of it, but I have caused a couple of traffic accidents over the years.
Oh, dear. Oh, my goodness. I hope they're all right.
Yeah. Fortunately, no one seriously hurt that I'm aware of.
Oh, that's good news. OK, well, listen, I always think this has to stem from a situation, something that's happened to you. What was it that made you decide, I want to be the Lizardman?
Yeah.
There must have been something. Did you have a dream? Did you wake up looking at a lizard? Did a lizard come into your bed? There's got to be a moment as to why this happened.
I know. Everybody wants the movie moment. Everybody wants the movie moment. And, you know, I just like to say I was told I could be whatever I wanted to be when I grew up. And I took that very seriously.
So you took that literally?
Nobody expected me to choose to be Lizardman. Yeah, you know, it's hard to break it down to a movie moment, but I had a lot of different ideas that came together, and the way that they came together ended up in this. It really started off from an interest in performance and conceptual art that I started exploring when I got to college.
And did you like lizards? Were you a reptile fan as a kid?
I've always enjoyed a reptilian aesthetic. Godzilla, big fan of Godzilla. And I became a fan of the way that reptiles cross all cultures and throughout history. No matter where you go, there's either a tale of a lizard man or a reptilian. You've got the world serpent. You've got the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Reptiles occupy a very special place in human consciousness. And as an artist, it was something that I felt that I could, you know, honestly exploit to my own advantage.
Sure.
But as an artist, you could do that in a day. You could dress up as a lizard. You decided to do this permanently. This is no joke. I mean, you've had your tongue lasered to separate your tongue. How much did that cost you to do that?
Well, fortunately, the doctor who did it, I actually designed the procedure and brought it to him.
What?
And he was willing to do it on me as the guinea pig. This was back in 1997. And at the time, he only charged me the costs of, you know, his use of his surgical theater, which was about $600 at the time.
And so how much pain was you in? How long did it take you to recover from that?
Right. So my tongue being split wasn't actually all that painful because they did give me a shot of lidocaine. But what I found interesting was I could taste and smell my own burning tongue as the laser went through it.
Oh, my goodness.
The swelling was so severe that it took about a week for the swelling to go down to the point where I could speak or eat normally.
So was it worth it, though? Was it worth it?
Oh, absolutely. Worth it. This is my legacy now, frankly. In the body modification community, I've sort of established this procedure and helped move it forward. You know, basically, people who have split tongues now very often cite me as a reference point. They maybe saw me, you know, 20-some years ago or more, and it inspired them.
Erik, did you have to learn how to speak again after getting your tongue lasered? Like, did it alter how you spoke and how long it took to kind of be able to kind of enunciate?
There was a little bit of a learning curve at the beginning, but surprisingly, it was a very natural thing for me to, if I needed my tongue to function as just one tongue again, all I have to do is kind of hold it together and use it like I used to. That happened pretty naturally. But when I had my teeth filed down to points, I had trouble hitting the backs of my teeth to do like t-t-t-t-t and sounds.
Wow.
So there was a slight lisp there that I had to learn to practice to touch my tongue to the roof of my mouth. It's a little trick that a friend of mine who's a speech pathologist taught me.
Right.
And I know you're married to your lovely wife. What does she think about that tongue?
I often say that my wife has plenty of complaints, but my tongue is not one of them.
I didn't hear the answer because you were looking at me. What did you say? She like, OK, do you know what? You don't need to say anymore. You really don't need to say anymore.
Really glad you asked that again now.
Tell me about the implants on your forehead as well.
Right.
Tell me a bit about that.
Well, I've got 5 pieces of Teflon implanted over each eye to create horned ridges. The procedure took about 6 hours. It was done without anesthetic, And as a result, it's the only time in my life that I've vomited and hallucinated as a result of pain.
Really? Oh my God, you poor thing. But you know, this is what you wanted. I mean, there's been
You gotta
some.
suffer for your art.
I mean, it's given you a career, hasn't it, Erik? It's changed your life, really. This has, hasn't it?
Absolutely. This is my dream. You know, when I first sort of had this idea, or you know, the ideas that started to form this, and they started to come together, I didn't think this was going to be an opportunity. This was more of a pipe dream. But things came together in about the mid-'90s. I ended up joining the Jim Rose Circus for a couple of years, then going solo. I've hosted music tours for bands like Slipknot, Slayer, Disturbed. I've traveled to fringe festivals around the world. It really has, like you said, changed my life. It's given me the life that I lead, and I'm very thankful for it.
And Erik, you're amongst friends here. You know, we're very live and let live, aren't we? But sort of honestly, are there any downsides to it at all?
You know, I think the downside is I know that, you know, sometimes I'm going to have a bad day. If I feel like I can't meet the negativity that I might encounter in the world with positivity, sometimes it'll make me want to stay home. You know, so there are days where, you know, you don't want to go out. But I often feel, too, that I'm in a sort of position where everybody remembers when they meet me, but it's hard for me to remember everybody I meet, right?
Sure.
So it's on me to always have a good interaction with people. I feel like there's a little bit of pressure there, which isn't really a downside. I actually like that because it forces me to try and be a good person. If I'm having a bad day, that's in the back of my mind, like, hey, don't be a jerk just because you're having a bad day, because these people will remember you forever as that green jerk.
Very good way of looking at life.
So it's a challenge to myself to be better.
Good for you, Erik.
Thank you, Erik. Thank you for sharing your story.
Nice
It's so interesting. Lots of love, Erik.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Wow, that's incredible. That's so interesting.